Chaverim, daven, 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 daven. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to daven. For all of us who are not zeicha to daven with a minyan in the foreseeable future, Rahman al-Islam, is a special time where you don't have to finish a Shemona Esrei fast in order to get to the Shliach Tzibur's Kedusha. Because usually, Minachat you should finish your davening so that you can answer Kedusha. But now we've got a unique opportunity that you don't have to do that because there's no minyan. So you can spend as long as you like with Kavanah, daven, daven, daven. I'm going to tell you the craziest story I ever heard about tefillah. I heard it yesterday. In Tzfas. There's a tzaddik called Reb Leib Bar Yisurin who's buried in Tzfas. This story must have happened 20 odd years ago with Rav Vosner Zatzal from Bnei Brak. I spoke to Rav Vosner. This happened probably in my lifetime. You're not going to believe this. So 20 odd years ago, there's a guy in Bnei Brak who has a 27-year-old daughter who needs a shidduch. So they tried everything, nothing's working. So he hears that in Tzfas there's a big tzaddik called Reb Leib Bar Yisurin, and he's buried there, and you daven by his kever, and if you daven, he'll take your tefillahs, Mirz Hashem, to the Kisei HaKavod, you have a Yeshua. He tells his wife, we've tried everything, I'm going to Tzfas. It's the winter. It's snow all over Eretz Yisrael. I remember this winter. He goes to Tzfas, but beforehand he says, come with me and daven. His wife says, too cold, it's too cold, I can't go. He says, I'm going by myself. He goes off to Tzfas. He parks his car at the top of this mountain, and he goes down, down, down. He knows where the kever is, through the snow. It's freezing cold. He gets to the tziyun, he gets to the kever of Reb Leib Bar Yisurin. He takes out his tehillim, and he starts davening for a shidduch for his 27-year-old daughter. And he's davening and davening, and there's no one there. It's freezing cold, it's the middle of the winter, there's snow all around. And suddenly, next to him, he sees standing an old man with a long white beard. And he thought he was by himself. When did he come in? And the man says to him, Boragid, ani yachol litztaref, I can join in with your tehillim. Boragid tehillim biyachad. So they start saying the tehillim biyachad. Shir lama alois esoinai leorim. By the way, shir lama alois esoinai. That's the only Shir Hamalos with a lamed, Shir Lamalos. Shir Hamalos mimamakim krasich Hashem. Make sure you remember that. Shir Hamalos esoinai leorim me'ayin yovay Ezri. He's davening for 20 minutes, and they finish, and they start walking out of this tziyun, the kever of Reb Leib Bar Yisurin. And the old man says, let me escort you. So they hold their arm in arm, and he's walking him out. How's he going to get up the steep hill with the snow, this old man? He gets out of as far as I understand, he gets out of the tziyun of the little building there, he turns the corner, he turns around, the old man's gone. He's gone. So he thinks to himself, I saw Eliyahu Novi. I was able to see Eliyahu Novi. Anyway, he's all happy. Eliyahu Novi came to me. It was an old man and he disappeared. Must be Eliyahu Novi. He climbs back up the hill. He gets in his car. He drives back home and he tells his wife, I daven by the tziyun of Reb Leib Bar Yisurin in Tzfas, and I saw Eliyahu Novi. He came to me. He davened with me. So his wife tells him, Tamushugata. Nachon, you davened, yes, you davened. Eliyahu Novi didn't come to see you. Don't worry, it wasn't Eliyahu Novi. Yes, there was a muvukah that you didn't notice, and he was there, and he went. He says, Abba, he disappeared. I didn't see where he went afterwards. He says, Adoni Balech, Motek, Tiraga Motek, calm down. You didn't see Eliyahu Novi. So he says, I'm telling you this story. I davened, there was an old man there, and he disappeared. She says, "Bon elech Rav. Well, let's go to the Rav and we'll discuss what happened with you." She says, "Let's go." So they go to Rav Wosner in Bnei Brak, and they're sitting there in front of Rav Wosner, and Rav Wosner says, "No, ma sheila, what's the shaila?" He says, "I went to the cave of Rav Leib Bar Yisurin in Tzfas, and there was an old man there, and he disappeared." So they're sitting in front of Rav Wosner, and Rav Wosner hears his story that this guy thinks he's met Eliyahu Novi in Tzfas. So Rav Wosner says, "Your wife's right. Adoni, it's been a long time since someone's seen Eliyahu Novi. Zelata, it wasn't Eliyahu Novi, it was an old man, but I'm sure your tefillahs were miskabel in Shamayim. Your wife, Chachama Gdola, there was no Eliyahu Novi who came to see you. Bye-bye." So the man gets up, he says, "Okay, Kvod Harav, Toda." And they leave, and his wife says, "You see, I told you, Eliyahu Novi doesn't come to you." So he goes home, and he's a bit distraught. The Rav tells him in his face that there was no Eliyahu Novi, he didn't have a Gilui Eliyahu Novi. He gets home, and he goes to sleep that night, and the next morning, he wakes up, Baruch Hashem, he wakes up. Shortly after Shachris, two Hasidim banging on his door. Opens the door. She says, "Arav rotzeh lirot otcha." The Rav wants you to come immediately. Rav Wosner has sent two shlichim to his house to call him back to Rav Wosner. He gets his hat and his bekisha, and he goes with the two Hasidim back to Rav Wosner. He gets into the room of Rav Wosner. Rav Wosner stands up for him. He says, Shev, sit." He says, "Not Kvod Harav." Rav Wosner insists he sits down. Rav Wosner stands up. And Rav Wosner has tears down his face. And Rav Wosner says to him, "Mechila, mechila." So the man says, "What? Ma bayait? I wasn't embarrassed in front of my wife. If that's the shaila, don't worry about it. Kvod Harav." Rav Wosner says to him, "I'll tell you what happened last night. Last night I had a dream. And the dream, Reb Leib Bar Yisurin came to me in the dream, and he said to me, 'What did you tell that poor man? You know who was there by the cave? It was me.' He was davening, he was saying to him with such kavana, by my kever, I wanted to be mitzaref with him in tefilloh. So together we said to him, it was me. Nachon, Eliyahu Novi it wasn't, but it was me. And you can tell this man that his tefillahs were miskabel, and in 2 days from now there will be matzia a shidduch for his daughter, and that's the one, min hashamayim." So Rav Wosner tells this man the dream, and he says, "You have to be meichel me. Do you know what it is that you saw, that you're zeicha to that tzaddik coming to you? These are stories in the Gemara." And of course, what happens 2 days later? The shadchan calls up and says, "Rabbi Yita, I have a shidduch for your 27-year-old daughter." He says, "Yeah, I'm listening." And Baruch Hashem, they're married. Klal Yisrael have a very, very special relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves every single Yid, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is misaveh the tefillosom shel tzadikim. I'm going to tell you an amazing vault that I heard many years ago when I was in Ponovitch from Reb Chaim Berman Shlita. So there's a famous Gemara in Brachos. The Gemara says that Yishmael ben Elisha was a Kohen Gadol, and once he goes, it was on Yom Kippur, he goes lifnai v'lifnim lahaktir k'teres, on Yom Kippur, the Kodesh Kodshim. And he meets HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Kodesh Kodshim. Pamachas nichnasti v'roisi hakas rikel k'Hashem tzavakos v'omar li Yishmael b'ni barcheni. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Rabbi Yishmael Kohen Gadol, "Yishmael b'ni, give me a bracha. Amarti lo, says the Gemara. What did Rabbi Shmuel answer back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Amarti lo yirotzim lefunecha sheyichbeshu rachamecha es kascha. A whole long list. The Kodesh Lem Nifnim B'Shur Sadin. A whole long list. Look at the Gemara there. If you know the song, you know all the list he asked. So I asked Reb Chaim Berman, I don't understand. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, give me a bracha. And what does Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha do? He gives a whole long list of bakoshas, of requests. That you should treat Klal Yisrael with rachamim and not din. V'yikonis lem nifnim b'shur sadin. Why didn't he say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shakol niyeh b'dvarim? Why didn't he say that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu asking for a bracha. What sort of bracha is that? By a whole long request. And what happens at the end of that story in the Gemara? V'na'aneli b'roshei HaKadosh Baruch Hu nodded. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, yes, I like that bracha. So 1 second. The Gemara there says, from here we see that Alti Birchas Hedget Kala B'Einecha, that if someone ordinary gives you a bracha, it should be choshev in your eyes, because Rabbi Shmuel, Kain Gadol, Klapi HaKadosh Baruch Hu is ordinary, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu liked his bracha. So ask Reb Chaim Berman, what sort of bracha was it? It was a whole long request. So comes along Reb Chaim Berman and says an amazing teretz. He says, I'll tell you something about tefillah. So you see, the world makes a mistake. Everyone thinks, or many people think, that I tried to be so good today and this didn't happen. And I decided I was going to go to yeshiva and learn, and I missed the bus. Sometimes when I try to be good, HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts a foot in the way. Is HaKadosh Baruch Hu chas v'sholem out to get me? This didn't work and that didn't work. There is nothing more that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants than the hatzlacha in ruchnius and gashmius for every yid in Klal Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give him a refuah and parnosa and hatzlacha and shalom bayit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give shalom brachos on Klal Yisrael. But there's a problem. If a person doesn't have Eira Rahman al-Islam, so he creates bad malachim and they go up to Shamayim. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sitting there by the counter, and there's these big bags of siyata dishmaya. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to push down a bag of siyata dishmaya on all the tzaddikim, all the yidden. And as soon as he pushes down a bag of siyata dishmaya, he gets bracha in ruchnis and gashmis. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is about to push down a bag of siyata dishmaya onto this Jew, and suddenly the Sultan comes along and says, hey, not fair. Why are you giving that Jew siyata dishmaya and bracha? Why don't you give my friend the Rosh siyata dishmaya? Not fair. So what does the HaKadosh Baruch Hu answer the Sultan? It's a good point. Why am I giving him siyata dishmaya and bracha and not the Rosha? The HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I gave it to him because he asked for it. Oh, he's asked again. Let's give him more. The Rosha, he's not asking. He's not talking to me. He doesn't ask for siyata dishmaya, so he doesn't care. Whoever asks, gets. It's an excuse for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give bracha. And in fact, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give siyata dishmaya for the Rosha to do teshuvah as well. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want the Rosha to die. Hashem wants the Rosha to do teshuvah and live. But he's waiting for him to ask. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu's got an excuse, kaviyachol, to the Sultan. Why did I give him siyata dishmaya? So you know what Reb Chaim Berman says? He says, do you know the greatest bracha you can give to the Rebbeinu Shleilam? An excuse to give Klal Yisrael bracha. That's the greatest bracha you can give Hashem, because that's Ratzon Hashem. The Rashba explains that Lashon bracha is riboy v'tosefes. Of course, it's emes, and that's how he answers this question. Reb Chaim Berman says, you know, at the end of the day, we see from the Gemara, Al Ti Birchas Hedget Kala B'Einecha, that the bracha from an ordinary person should be valuable in your eyes, from the bracha Rabbi Shmuel gave to the Rebbeinu Shleilam. So there must be some Indian of bracha here as we know it. Says Reb Chaim Berman, you know what the greatest bracha you can give the Rebbeinu Shleilam? The greatest bracha you can give the Rebbeinu Shleilam is an excuse to give Klal Yisrael bracha, and hatzlacha. Now, let me finish off with a cure to the coronavirus. I have a very choshev brother who lives in Bnei Brak, Rabbi Eliezer. He wrote 2 books, The Challenge of Jewish History and Searching for Sinai. One of his books is Rav Belsky from the OU Zatzal. He says a mitzvah to read his book. So I wouldn't take his words so lightly. There is a posuk in Bamidbar Lamed Gimel Yud Beis, Vayesumim midbar sin vayachanu bedofka. 3 times China is mentioned in the Torah, sin. This posuk, Vayesumim midbar sin vayachanu bedofka, if you change the letters around, you get Vayisu b'fachad mimadvei korona b'sin. They traveled with fear from the illness of corona, from sin. And if you change the letters around again, you know what you get? Da'u sam chisun corona b'mei pi doiv. The antidote, the anti-serum to the coronavirus is in the saliva of a bear. Whoa. And there's another posuk. Shmos lamed lamed daled. The Zohar in the end of Vayakel says, saying Parshas Keteres is Mesugol Neged Magefa. What's the first posuk in the Parshas Keteres? Vayomer Hashem el Moshe kach lecho samim notov v'shecheles v'chel boino samim ulevono zako bad bavad yehyeh. Do you know what the chiluf osius of that is? The chiluf osius of that posuk, if you mix the letters around, imhu cholosh me'al korona leich sim tipas meidov alovon lecholov v'hoyozoch v'sam hachisun b'mei hadov. Exact letters. If he's weak with corona, go and put a drop of the saliva of a white bear into milk and he will get better. And the sum of the chisun, the vaccination is b'mei hadov, is the saliva of a bear. Now if you suspect that it's ridiculous that the saliva of a bear can do anything for human beings, in 2018 scientists discovered that the saliva of a bear has amazing medicinal properties for a human being and can kill certain bacteria. Now I know a virus is not with bacteria, but we've done a bit of research and there's certain things called an anti-serum where the antibodies of certain things may help cure a virus. Not a bacteria, a virus. And there's one more interesting point, that bears around the world right now have come out of hibernation a month early after the hottest winter in recorded history. I wonder why all these bears are now coming out. Maybe because to make their saliva available so that there'll be a cure for corona. Now here's the crucial part. 2 years ago, scientists in Taiwan discovered that forest workers have a higher level of NK cells than anyone else. NK cells are natural killer cells. Those are the cells which are crucial to fight off a virus in the human body. The virus enters the body produces natural killer cells and destroys the virus. And workers in a forest have higher levels. Well, if workers in a forest have higher levels of NK cells, what about those who live in the forest? The bears! Oh, they're going to have a super high level of NK cells. So it's definitely worth checking down that avenue to see if the saliva of a white bear and the saliva of a brown bear can help us with corona. And even if it doesn't work, we can be someach with the knowledge that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves Klal Yisrael. He's misaveh for our tefillos, and Yeshuas Hashem keherefayim.